Welcome back, everyone. Today is officially it's our second episode, but it's week two
This
of
is the
our
real season.
the real start. This is the Average Fan Podcast,
Oh
and we're
yeah.
gonna go. We're gonna take a look at what's been going on this last week, and
Yeah.
as per usual, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Mr. Michael.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Ben. Great to talk to you again. Um I'm so happy about this season starting. It's been
It's
great
yeah,
already.
it's football season, brother. It
Yeah.
started.
We'll get into it. It's not been the best week for either one of us, but nonetheless, I'm very happy that it's at least started. So we at least get some football, and my favorite team gets to play. So yeah, there's
This
that.
is yeah.
Well, I mean, looking straight into it, why don't we go ahead and start with that Thursday night football game between the Eagles and the Cowboys? Eagles kind
It
of,
was surprisingly a good game. I was not expecting it to be as close as it was.
yeah, no. I'm sure everybody thought that Philly was going to be able to put more in. I thought Philly was going to put more in. I had A.J. Brown starting in my fantasy league. He
Yeah,
has let me down, to say the least.
yeah. I mean, it was one of those games where it's a tale of, a tale of two halves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. CeeDee Lamb was playing pretty well, but then ended up dropping some big passes, which kind of led Dallas to officially being out of the game. But Philly is having some trouble, man. Saquon Barkley wasn't really like doing it. I mean, he had his plays, obviously, but 18 carries for 60 yards doesn't really get you
No, I mean it.
that
I
far.
just feel like both teams really didn't play their best ball, and I mean that's kind of how week one goes. But surprisingly, despite Dak only throwing for under 200 yards, I really don't think that loss was on him. I think it was kind of on their I mean, we talked about this last week, but with Micah Parsons gone, they did not stand a chance at getting any pressure on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, just one sack on the day. 5 tackles for loss. I mean, they were better than Philadelphia, but I mean, ultimately, Jalen Hurts was still pretty perfect. Their rushing game had a good chunk more yardage. The game could have gone either way. Neither one played super well. Expected result here, and everybody loves some drama. We had that Jalen Carter,
Oh yeah,
UGA
the
legend.
spitting, that was that was quite a way to start the season. I feel like that summarizes kind of just how the NFL goes.
Oh yeah, I had a friend, or I have a friend, and he's a Philly fan. So when I saw that Jalen Carter was spitting, I'd give him a call, and I was like, "Hey, I didn't know Jalen Carter was the Hawk Tuah girl." As a little like a stupid little joke.
No, bro, let the meme die, dude. Let it die. I
Dude, it was
can't.
so funny. He just went silent, and you could tell that one stung. That poor joke on my part, but there's the irony humor. That's what I like to throw down, and man, I love a reaction like that. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
you can't be spitting on people, so that's why that happened.
Overall, I think we both picked Philly to win. So
Yeah, yeah,
our
yeah.
predictions, for at least for the first game, we started out 1-0. Not our teams didn't, but we did in terms of
Yeah,
what we
we
thought would happen. But you know, I think we can move on to Friday night.
Friday night the Brazil game.
Everyone's favorite, the international series. It was the Chiefs and the Chargers. I just, and this isn't even really analysis. This is 2 years in a row where one of the two biggest stars on Kansas City kill one of their most important receivers on the field. I don't understand how this
Yeah,
keeps happening.
Xavier Worthy going down with, I think he like popped his shoulder out of socket or something
Ugh.
like that.
I mean, I hope he's all right. That sucks, but it
Yeah,
just
you
keeps
just can't
happening.
you can't throw hospital balls. Patrick Mahomes knows better. He would take it back any chance he could get. Everybody knows that. But just throwing safe balls. Even I think actually Travis Kelsey was the one who ended up hitting Xavier Worthy um,
Yeah,
in like a collision of routes. Um, can't be doing that, you know.
I
But hey,
mean,
I just
they're supposed to be playing better ball than that. They're supposed to be cleaner.
yeah,
And
absolutely. But one of the stars in one of my fantasy leagues, Hollywood Brown, almost 100 yards, averaging 9.9 that day. He played pretty well. You didn't get to see a lot of him in the Chiefs uniform, but you know he did decently well.
mm-hmm.
I was very happy with that.
100 yards on the day, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a good first game. But I just think the Chargers just played better, especially Justin Herbert. And I really have to applaud Jim Harbaugh for being aggressive. I think that last year the Chiefs, what was it like? Almost all of their games were decided by one possession or less.
Yeah.
And I think that hopefully this year teams have figured out that the way you beat a team like that is you just play aggressively and you don't give them an opportunity to get the ball back. But don't let Patrick Mahomes do his 2 minute drill.
Yeah, definitely not. No, because he was keeping it close. This game was pretty back and forth. A lot of punts, a lot of failed drives, and then your occasional score. Justin Herbert though was looking great. 318, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, but it
A,
didn't matter at
a
all.
sexy man. That is a
Dude,
sexy man out there.
so hot. He's caught holding hands with Madison Beer, so now he's got a singer songwriter girlfriend. Um, more
Yeah,
reason to hate that fool. The rushing yards was a bit lackluster. I know Jim Harbaugh would want that higher.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't help. We talked about this a lot last week, though, but with their starting guard out, and that makes it a lot harder to run the ball. But
Yeah.
I think the Chargers come out swinging, and I mean, I hope this is the year that the Chiefs finally fall off to some degree.
Yeah. I think they're just going to start slow. Great teams always find ways to pick it back up. So I still have a little faith in the Chiefs. But Quinn Johnston getting almost 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, unheard of by him. He remembered how to catch the ball. Remembered that big ass frame of his can be used, towards playing football, which good on him. Lad McConkey was doing what he does, UGA legend. Say it every time. Keenan Allen, one of my favorite wide receivers back in the day when it was still San Diego. He came back, slow happenings in the first 2.5 quarters, and then just
Yeah,
suddenly kicked it into overdrive. Ended up having a lot of very important catches late in the game, including his touchdown pass at the end of the third quarter.
yeah.
The Chargers looking good, man. I think a lot of it kind of relied on how the wide receivers would play out because people weren't very confident in it. But if they play like this every week, dude, that's a real team. They just got to get their
It
rushing
is. Yeah,
yards up. Once they do that, they're good. They got a good field goal kicker.
yeah. That's true.
Start rushing and keep that defense cooking.
Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of where each team goes on week 2. Week 1 is always can be misleading,
Oh
which
yeah,
kind of leads us very perfectly into the next game of the Saints versus the Cardinals. And we know last year the Saints started somehow with dropping 40 bombs for 2 games in a row, getting
yeah,
taken down by the
beautiful
Cardinals.
fluke.
Yeah, beautiful fluke. No one wants a good Saints team, but 20-13, losing to the Kyler Murray led Cardinals. Surprisingly, Spencer Rattler actually played. Well, looks
Yeah,
like I mean, not a great completion percentage, but still threw for 200 yards, which is
less than 50 QBR. Gotta love that.
yeah. I mean, not a good game necessarily from the Saints as a whole, but I'm surprised that Spencer Rattler at least isn't entirely to blame. But
Yeah,
I did not watch this game, so I can't speak for what actually happened out on the field.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I love watching lowlights of the Saints. It was just a lot of they were just stagnant all the time. They got bailed out by Alvin, not bailed out, but Alvin Kamara was the only thing worth anything really on that offense. A lot of the receiving yards kind of came inconsistently. Chris Olave is literally not going to be able to play football for more than like within the next 3 years. He's going to have to retire based on these hospital balls that they're throwing his way. He's literally getting knocked out like
I mean,
almost
the
every
Saints
other
have
week.
it's like a Saints tradition to be throwing hospital balls. I mean, that's all Derek Carr could do last year as well before he got hurt.
Yeah, I know, right?
So,
The one, as much as I hate to say it, their defense is actually still playing pretty well. 5 sacks as a team, 2 people with 1.5, not bad at all. 7 tackles for loss. Giving credit where credit
mhm.
is due. It doesn't. I think that's just benefiting from you playing the Cardinals. I don't think it's
Yeah.
anything crazy.
And Marvin Harrison led the Cardinals in receiving and in touchdowns, which is, I mean, that's good to see. I like Marvin Harrison. I want him to have a good career. So
Yeah.
that's always encouraging to see. I don't know if I have, I mean, that much really to say about it. It's kind of one of those 1 o'clock games where, two teams. I hope the Cardinals are good, but we don't really know, especially if you only win by 7 against the Saints. I don't know if that really instills a lot of confidence.
If they were going against pretty much any other team, they probably would have lost. So this was a real dumpster
Hmm.
fire of a game. Unless you're a fan of the team, it probably was not fun to watch. I
Yeah.
think we both said Arizona was winning this one,
Yeah. Yep.
and I said Los Angeles was winning the past.
I think
Or you had the
I might
Chiefs. I
have.
know that.
Yeah, I had the Chiefs, so I think you're winning this week. You're 3-0
I'm
so far, and I'm two and
undefeated.
one. Yeah, undefeated, but I don't know if you're gonna stay undefeated at the next game. And if we want to talk about a dumpster fire, the Miami Dolphins losing 8-33
Yeah,
to the
that
Colts.
is insane. Daniel
Absolutely insane.
Daniel
Danny
Jones.
Dimes came out swinging.
I had seen a stat about his performance where oh man, hold on, I kind of want to look it up.
He threw for 22 out of 29, averaged 9.5 yards per pass, 1 touchdown, no picks, only getting sacked 1 time. That's with, I mean, they definitely had a complimentary run game, but again, is this year's Saints? I don't know. I definitely chose the Dolphins to win, and it's not that I thought the Dolphins were going to be great, but I mean, Tua came out threw 2 picks,
Yeah,
a QBR of 2.7. I mean, like what is that?
yeah,
Mike McDaniel is supposed to be this offensive guru. I don't know.
he was supposed to be one. I think Tua just has regressed. Getting benched for Zach Wilson late in the game, and and this was just not a good showing by them. A Chain still kind of looked good. 7 carries for only 55. You have to get that up. You had 12 total carries as a team. They only threw the ball 31 times. Two only threw it 23. Tyreek Hill averaged 10 yards a catch, but only on 4 receptions. Jalen Waddle only 10 yards less, same amount of receptions. I mean, you gotta get those guys active. But at the same time, the issue is that they're like almost virtually the same player. So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Is
hard to
Ty
run an
like
offense like that. But
I
this,
also feel like Tyreek is starting to get old as well. It's just they have kind of an aging roster. Their prime was like 2 or 3 years ago, unfortunately.
yeah, they just are not. They're just not doing it anymore. And Daniel Jones is over here. The stat that I was thinking of is no quarterback this century has ever led his team to points on every possession of a game.
He's the only
I
he's
mean,
the only quarterback to do that, where his drives the whole game either ended touchdown or field goal, which is pretty dang impressive. If I do say so myself, props to him. He did pretty well, and hopefully he can keep it up. I'm never gonna really be. I don't like hate him or anything. So hopefully he can keep playing like that. He'll be like a little dark horse candidate. Everybody can be rooting for him.
yeah, I have nothing against Daniel Jones. I'm in it for the memes. If this is actually what we get for the season, then no wonder Anthony Richardson got benched. But it's Daniel Jones, and they're
Danny
playing the Miami
Dimes.
Dolphins. I don't want to get ahead of myself yet, but I do agree this is a interesting start. The Raiders versus Patriots.
Big pass heavy game by the Patriots. 30 for 46. Drake May was 287, one touchdown, one interception. Pretty up. I mean, hey, that's in my opinion an above average game by him, especially considering what we've seen. Only 60 yards rushing, not good. Kayshawn Boot probably butchered the hell out of that. 103 yards. I don't know, Patriots had a receiver like that, but keep throwing to that guy, you're gonna do pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see this game, but I mean, Ashton Genty, it's not necessarily, if you're 19 carries and 40 yards is not that's not great, but he led the Raiders. Gino, we know from past years he can sling it.
Yeah,
Uh,
362.
I mean, that's a good stat line. I know there's one pick, one touchdown, kind of the same as Drake May, but overall, it looks like the Raiders, and I'm surprised to be saying this. It just seems like they played a cleaner game. We have two. I guess New England didn't turn over the ball. It looks like Will Campbell recovered the ball that Drake May fumbled, but I just think I am high on the Patriots this year. I do think that they can be good, but again, week one, are these both good teams? Are they both bad teams? Is it one side of the ball better than the other? I don't know. I mean, Vegas cleaned house, so did the Patriots. So we're into kind of see what happens next week, but I'm excited.
Yeah, Brock Bowers was looking good up until he had a knee injury. I don't think I haven't seen anything about it. So hopefully he comes back
Yeah,
soon. Hopefully he's not hurt. Jacoby Myers is hopefully going to be a pickup in my fantasy league, especially with this injury here. He's probably going to get a lot of touches. I mean, they threw it to him 8 times for 97 yards. I'd love to have that on my team. And I'm
yeah.
just a fan of Jacoby Myers in general. The Raiders, Geno Smith is doing a lot more than I thought. They might, like I said before, they low-key might be something.
Hey, maybe the Chiefs are the only team in the AFC West that lost. They're last in the division right now. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe hey, they washed allegations.
Washed allegations for sure.
Let's move on.
Yeah, for the next game I have, and this was surprisingly and unexpectedly one of the best games of the day. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn's coaching debut, Aaron Rodgers' revenge game. I was shocked at how accurate Justin Fields was. That was my main takeaway. He looked like he could actually kind of read a defense for the
Yeah,
first time ever.
never seen that before. Literally.
No, absolutely not. Brees Hall with 100 yards. I mean, I think the Jets had a really good game plan coming in. Obviously, the Steelers came out on top, but a good game. I think I watched this one. I think there were like 7 or 8 lead changes, and that's always a fantastic watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Aaron Rodgers 4 touchdowns, 22 for 30, pretty accurate. Not perfect. I want to say perfect with the ball, but pretty close to being perfect with the ball during that game. Jalen Warren, same thing. He's not rushing a ton, but you let go of your starting running back for a
Hmm.
backup, and you just throw the backup out there and hope he does well. Doesn't always
Yeah.
work out, and you see that there. DK Metcalf doing what he does, uh, opposite to Garrett Wilson doing what he does.
Hmm. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I don't like him as a person, but as a player, you gotta respect. He's still in his 40s. comes out, throws 250 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, got to give my props to him. We'll see how they do. The defense was a lot more subpar than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
New York's defense was what I thought it was. So we'll see how they progress. The New York offense might be kind of fun to watch, much like the Steelers' offense. A very, very interesting game so far. I'm liking how the NFL's looking so far.
I
Honest
agree
with you.
Yeah, it was a good week one. Not for our teams, and we're about to get there. But the next game is the Commanders versus the Giants. I mean, I don't think either of us were surprised. I guess we've been forgetting to kind of go over our predictions, but I had the Patriots winning. I think you said Raiders, and then we both had the Steelers winning. So only I think I've been wrong on 2. You've been wrong on 1. You're nailing them. But we both had the Commanders winning. Unsurprisingly, like we know Russell Wilson sucks.
Not good.
He's not good.
They were
Honestly,
recreating that wide receiver picture when Malik Neighbors just like glaring at him.
I would honestly just bench Russ and put in, even if Jackson Dart or Jameis, like, they don't need to be good. I just think at this point, just give Dart the start. Like, give him reps. Because if you're gonna keep Russ going, it's a lost season.
Yeah, basically, if he plays like this for more than like 2 weeks, at that point you might as well let Jackson Dart play bad, so he can get used to the NFL a little, start to learn. You can develop the player a bit. Russell Wilson was under 50% completion percentage. Horrible. I mean, he threw 37 times, and I mean he barely completed it to anybody. I mean, Malik Neighbors had 5 for 71. You couldn't get him at the ball anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting frustrated for him just looking at this stat line.
Oof, and 12 targets for Malik Neighbors.
I mean, that would just be so frustrating. And seeing, Washington, Jaden Daniels. I mean, we know that New York has a good defense. I mean, Jaden Daniels got sacked 3 times. He's mobile, but and Abdul Carter even got like a half a sack too. I mean, we know their D-line is legit, and they did hold the Commanders to just 21 points, which it's frustrating seeing New York, because I feel like for the last few years they have the talent to be good.
Definitely. They definitely have the talent to be good. Brian Daboll is just, he had that one year he took him to like the wild card or something like that off of legitimately pure luck.
Yeah, beating the luckiest team ever, which was the 2022 Minnesota Vikings, and then beating them, and then just a complete mess. I don't think Joe Shane is a very good GM, but truly their issue is just they need a franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
they
need their Eli Manning.
Yeah, bring him back, honestly.
Sign him again, get him going.
Overall, I mean, Debo led Washington in yards, and Russell Wilson fumbled the ball, unsurprisingly. I mean, he's a statue back there now, and it's just sad because he used to be good, but I just think he's washed, and I think it's time for him to either become a backup or, just retire. I mean, he's made his money. He's won a Super Bowl. All respect to him, but I think it's time.
Oof, I think if I'm reading this right, the punter had more punting yards and offense had offensive yards. That's for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was another one, just low scoring affair, kind of like the Arizona game. It just happened that Washington scored a bit more. It looks like they struggled a little bit, but they ended up getting the win. Good teams find ways to win even in bad games.
That's true.
I think. Wait. I think I said Commanders for this as well.
Yeah, we both said Commanders, and going on to this next game, which is the Panthers versus the Jaguars, which I think there was a delay in this game. I don't know how long it lasted, but lightning delay.
It was like
Bryce Young. Yeah, Bryce Young not the start that he needed in this season.
No, definitely 20 QBR.
not that Trevor Lawrence played like fantastic, but I mean he got Travis Etienne 143 yards, so they did something right. I think Liam Cohen, hopefully figuring something out for them. Just we'll see. I don't trust either of these teams right now.
Yeah, that I was basically about to say, how much of it is, how skilled the Jaguars are, how much of it is that they're playing the Carolina Panthers. We'll find out as weeks continue. The Jaguars only had 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. The rushing yards, 200 yards on the day. Beautiful. I love seeing a lot of rushing yards. Passing, obviously, it is kind of subpar. I mean, you have Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter. You can't get nothing going. That's saying a lot. I mean, you only get Brian Thomas the ball once out of 7 targets. I mean, you're feeding Travis Hunter eight balls. He's catching 6 of them for only 33 yards.
Yeah.
If they really want to win, you can't just feed the rookie to make him happy. You gotta feed, your wide receiver 1, Brian Thomas, and you gotta see that more. So I think their win just happens to be the result of playing the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
The Panthers did look bad. Not very good. McMillan had a decent catch, but that's really it. I mean, it wasn't a good game. This, as you can see, it was pretty much just 3 points for them in the first quarter, and then they scored a touchdown late. It was really dumpster fire, a blowout basically. That just looks a little bit better, ending at 26-10. I think both of us also took the Jaguars here. So this is a very unsurprising result.
Very unsurprising result. I didn't think it would be this much of a blowout, but
yeah.
Still happy to have gotten it right. For the next game, we have one that I think we both got wrong, but I'm not mad about it, which is the Bengals versus the Browns.
Yeah.
From what I saw, the Browns lost this game by missing a kick.
They missed they missed like a PAT, which made it so they couldn't tie the game.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely lost the game from that missed PAT.
Joe Flacco with almost 300 yards. He did have 2 picks, but I mean that old man can still sling it.
He is slinging it. You throw it 31 times or 45 times, sorry. And your wide receivers are Jerry Jeudy, Dylan Sampson, Harold Fannin Jr. No disrespect to any of them, but it's not the best group. So this could also be did they look good because they went against, empty Cincinnati defense? Something that was kind of surprising, the lack of offense by the Bengals. I mean, you have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. These guys are supposed to be doing really well, and both of them are under 40 yards. Joe Burrow didn't even hit 120 passing yards, and they gotta win off the skin of their teeth, just like the Washington game. These are wins that you play anybody else, you're probably not winning that one.
Yeah,
they just gotta play better.
The Browns lost this game for them. That's like the basic way to sum it up. But I'm sorry, Michael. The next game. It's the Bucks and the Falcons. I was not watching this game. I know you and I were texting a bit. I was giving you some shit, I know, but I honestly thought, because I saw you guys had the ball, I thought you were at least sending it to overtime. From what I can see, and I'll let you, you probably have a lot more to say than me, but I can see that Michael Penix balled out. Not his fault that they lost.
Nope.
I'll let you take over, but it just seems like Michael Penix outplayed Baker. That's not an easy thing to do. Something had to go wrong. What happened, Michael?
So it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a decent defense. As much as I hate to admit that as well, their stats don't really show it. But I mean, they were stopping the run late in the game. You can see we ran that ball 28 times. We ran the ball more than we completed passes in the game. The Bucs did that too, but this one's neither one of our running backs, our 1,000-yard rushing running backs, got over 25 yards. And it was because Zach Robinson, our offensive coordinator, was just calling the same type of plays over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
like straight head on to Vita Vea with Bijan instead of with Tyler Algier, or running Tyler Algier to the right on a play that you just ran with Bijan the play before. Stuff like that is it was bad conservative play calling. I think he gets kind of scared when you don't have like when you're missing players. So with
Yeah.
the loss of Caleb McGarry, it didn't really look very good. But Michael Penix Jr., that man has some sort of affinity for diving for things. Though for a first down, barely got it. I mean, barely got it. It's like a 4th and 1 on like a rollout. Um, Great defensive play by whoever was tackling him, and he was just able to reach over, extend, and just get a first down. And then like 2 plays later, he had to do the basically the exact same thing to get a touchdown on 4th down again. And it
Yeah.
was just he was doing so much, and our receivers were just there. They were not catching it very well. Surprisingly, Kyle Pitts was not one of those that I'm talking about. Kyle Pitts actually caught the ball 7 times, almost 60 yards. He was playing pretty well. Bijan had that long 50-yard catch at the beginning. Otherwise, it was just it just wasn't
So
anything
you're
insane.
blaming it on the coaches mostly. Like they didn't.
Yeah, I am blaming it
Yeah.
mostly on our offensive coordinator. I think our play calling was
Yeah.
subpar. I mean, there's little specifics that you could go into. We could talk about how Koo missed the kick to tie the game, but is it really on Koo to make the kick, or for the team not to put themselves in a position where we have to rely on him to make the pick or to make the kick? So yeah, and our team captain Jesse Bates was not playing well. There, for the Falcons or Bucks fans that are out there, your rookie wide receiver, Emike Egbuka, 2 touchdowns. He played phenomenally well. Mike Hughes was covering him for most of the games. Most people are blaming it on our corner too, but Jesse Bates was missing a lot of coverages where he needed safety help, and it ended up giving him 2 touchdowns. And you just
Yeah.
can't do that, especially against a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who in my opinion is legitimately like he's top 10, like no question. Yeah, and we had them locked on the rushing side of it for a while. Baker Mayfield was doing some real magic second half, but like Bucky Irving, less than 40 yards on 14 rushes. You love to see that. Mike Evans, 50 yards. You love to see that. No, no real defensive statistics for either team, but we had a 40% pressure rate, which is from a
That's
standpoint of
that's
Atlanta
good.
Falcons, it's insane. You
That's
know,
that's good to hear. Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had 40% pressure rate. But all in all, it was really a coaching thing. We just keep playing conservative. It'll never That'll never get you anything, especially when you're not playing up. So
Yeah.
that's just basically we just need to keep working on that.
I'm excited. I want to get around to watching a Falcons game. That was just the Lions game is on, which we're close to getting to, which I'll probably go on my own rant. But for the next game, it's the 49ers and the Seahawks. This one, I picked the Seahawks to win. I actually think I picked the Bucks for the Bucks Falcons game, but um, for the Seahawks 49ers, Brock Purdy played okay, I guess. 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. They still came out with the win, almost 300 yards. Sam Darnold, it doesn't look like he played terrible, but when you're only down by 4 points, it kind of is on the quarterback to get in. And as I said last week, I don't think Sam Darnold is it. I just think he benefited from the excellent coaching in Minnesota, the weapons around him, and no hate to the Seattle coaching team or the roster. I think they have a solid roster. I just think Sam Darnold is not the right guy for them.
Yeah, Sam Darnold 16 completions, 150 yards. You look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, 9 receptions for 124 yards. So 26 yards that Sam Darnold's threw did not go to Jackson Smith and Jigba. That is crazy. One receiver should not have all of your yardage. You don't, like, at that point they can just sit there and cover JSN, and then they just win. So when you have a game where Brock Purdy's throwing 2 picks, you can capitalize off of that, and then you don't, like, that's bad. Zach Charbonnet, 12 carries for 47 yards. He ended up out carrying and out yarding Kenneth Walker. So maybe there's something going on with the running backs. I think this one also falls on the coach, Mike. I think it's Mike McDonald. I didn't like him a ton when they hired him. I don't like him now. I think Sam Darnold definitely benefited from Kevin O'Connell versus, he suddenly just woke up. Yeah, I mean, this is another poorly played game by both of the teams.
It is, just a messy
division game.
Yeah, and I mean that's like the story of today is it's just that's a week 1 sometimes.
Yeah. These are all no, you can't panic at these results. Yeah. It's just the first week. People are still hashing things out. No season is over. No season is guaranteed to go to the Super Bowl. None of that.
Yeah, so I mean it's just. And for the next game, I think it's kind of another example of that, which is the Titans and the Broncos. Cam Ward's debut, 12 for 28, 112 yards, took 6 sacks for 50 yards. I mean, QBR of 7.5. Honestly, going up against the Denver defense as your first game as a rookie on the road, I'm not worried. It'd be different if this was the end of the season or the end of next season, but so welcome to the league moment.
Yeah, especially being in Denver. It's a high altitude place. Tennessee is not. This is a team that played pretty well last year and has a good defense. Bo Nix was exactly what I thought he would be, though. 2 interceptions. 176 yards, not very good. Cam Ward was barely worse. Cam Ward was worse. He was barely better. A big shocker. They're running pretty well, 151 yards. I love to see a good rushing team. Maybe they keep that up because this passing is not good. Cortland Sutton is the only good player on your team. He had a great touchdown. I think almost like mossing a player. It was really cool. But on top of that, Bo Nix is fumbling as well and losing that. So that's 3 turnovers attributed to him. I mean, that's just screaming, I got bailed out by my defense. I mean, you look at this, they had 6 sacks. 6 sacks. Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
That's just like I know it's Tennessee, but 6 sacks, you won by 8, and your quarterback turned the ball over 3 times. Brian Callahan needs to get something together. From what I saw, it was just really bad calling by him, coaching malpractice through and through. Cam Ward.
I mean, I just think both coaches, from what I saw about like what Sean Payton was doing too, just both coaches were trying their hardest to lose this game. And honestly, if Cam Ward was better, I think that the Titans would have won. At first game, I think that they could have easily won. I mean, they still put up 12 points. So it was only a 1-possession loss, but
they got to play better. Brian Callahan needs to kind of fill the shoes that he was given. There's not much to say about that.
For our next game, it's the Lions and the Green Bay Packers, and I will let you start with your takes, and then I'm gonna take a minute to just kind of ramble.
Yeah, from what I saw, you benefited, or not benefited. You suffered from the same curse as us. Your 2 running backs didn't do very well. Your quarterback played I mean, Jared Goff played all right. He wasn't like goated or anything. Your, your weapons were doing what they do outside of Jameer Gibbs, obviously, but that Green Bay defense just stood out to me. 4 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 1 interception. They were just cooking. That's from I didn't watch a ton of the game. From what I saw, the defense was just keeping you guys in hell, just repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue, and I, if there are any Lions fans watching, I have to be honest. Y'all were kind of pissing me off yesterday because this is week 1, and yes, we did only put up 6 points in the first 3 quarters, and Jared Goff did throw a pretty well. I would say his pick wasn't necessarily on him. I would give credit to Green Bay's defense just playing super well and putting us in a position where he had to be, continually making checkdowns. But this loss was not on Goff. This wasn't on the weapons. This was entirely on the trenches and namely the offensive line. And the reason that like everyone online was just like getting to me is we have an aging veteran taking over for a Hall of Fame Frank Ragnow at center, and then essentially 2 rookies as guards. This is week 1 of a new coordinator. I just feel like a lot of people kind of were delusional in the sense of like, oh, our offensive line is going to come out and be as good as they're going to be at the end of this upcoming season. And I don't think that's fair. We do have a very good offensive line coach. And I just think that Green Bay came out and played a cleaner game than us. As someone watching this game, both of those field goals were fairly like, if we had just converted on a couple more, like, and I know this is not by any means a crazy thing to say, but if we had just converted those to touchdowns and Jared Goff hadn't thrown that pick, we would have won with 28 points. And our defense clamped down on the second half, and until that pick happened and we had to go through it on a 4th down where we did not convert and almost got a safety like 3 times where the O-line fell apart, our defense wasn't playing terribly. And I know it's frustrating to see the D-line not do anything, but again, we have a rookie in Tyleik Williams, and Hutch's first game back, he was getting double, if not triple teamed the entire game, and he was still getting some pressure. I mean, he was the only one doing anything, and it's like, I don't know. I think for a lot of Lions fans, we kind of needed to have a loss like this because it's not realistic, go 15-2, come back, win 13 or 14 games without having at least one like humble back to earth moment. It's still entirely possible, as Michael was saying. Like, our season's not over. We could still win every single game this season, and I don't think that's going to happen. But overreacting to a team that just got Micah Parsons, and I know last week I was saying I don't think that's a big deal, and Micah Parsons did play limited snaps, so it wasn't, we didn't really see the full impact that he had. But I was frustrated by this game. Sure, I do think, like Michael said, the play calling was bad, but we really just need to see improvement on the trenches, and Dan Campbell's a good coach, and I think a lot of it just came down to cleaning up, maybe game planning a bit better, and just starting to gel, and that might take a couple weeks. If this was week 10, I would be panicking, but this isn't week 10, this is week 1.
Yeah, well said. It's week 1. So, that's I was telling myself that over and over again. It's just the first week, Michael Penix's 4th start. Yeah, you just gotta let things settle. Things just always have to settle. I don't think you guys started very hot last year, and look what happened. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Goff threw 31 for 39, which is good, but then it was only an average of 6 yards because we just kept throwing checkdowns because he didn't have time to. I could keep going, but a lot of stuff needs to get cleaned up, and I have faith in this team. And if this continues to happen, if we lose to the Bears in this fashion next week, that's a different story. But that's all. That's my multiple cents, like the whole dollar of my thoughts. But we can move on to
The Rams?
the Rams and Texans. Rams come out on top. Doesn't
A real shitter game.
a real shitter of a game. I mean, Matthew Stafford played well.
Yeah.
I think Puka got 130 yards. I mean, it just, not surprisingly, Houston. This just kind of is reminding me of last year. C.J. Stroud took 3 sacks for 40 yards, 1 pick. Like,
Yeah, it's very similar to their stagnant offense from last year. The defense had 3 sacks. They were forcing fumbles, and ended up taking one of them away as well. It just seems they just are getting stagnant. You can't only pass for 188 yards against Los Angeles Rams team that doesn't have the best defensive backs on the roster. You have Nico Collins running out there. You're only throwing to him 5 times. Justin Watson getting some decent point yardage. But
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Nick Chubb as well. 13 for 60 is, considering what he's been through, it is pretty good. But they don't really have any playmakers, making plays.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when Tank Dell comes back, but that's still a bit out. So we'll see how that goes. They just have to. Either that defense needs to step up, that offense needs to figure whatever's wrong. They need to figure it out, or else games like this are just going to keep happening, and it's just going to be a repeat from last year.
Yeah, I mean, the story of, like we're saying, the story of all these games is just you got to play cleaner. And I do think C.J. Stroud is a good quarterback, but you gotta give him a fighting chance to not have him have to put the whole team on his shoulders, because there's very few quarterbacks that can do that. But speaking of what we know right now is the game of the week.
Oh, undoubtedly. The
Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. This game, I missed it. I was kind of mad about the Lions game, and I had enough football for the weekend. I had to watch Michigan State go to double OT against Boston College. Like, my heart couldn't handle anymore. But I mean, Josh Allen came out week 1 and threw for almost 400 yards. Like, that's insane. Lamar Jackson, 200 yards, almost 100 on the ground. Like, this is like an instant classic, a 1-point win. Truly great game. I know Derrick Henry lost a fumble, and that could have changed everything. And those are the games where, this doesn't make me think ill of the Ravens at all. It's like, oh wow, they're like, the Ravens were 1 play away from winning, just as the Bills were 1 play away from losing. You have these teams play 10 times, they both win 5. So, just very impressive for Josh Allen. And
these guys are playing really well. This game was all Baltimore, pretty much up until 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen was doing some things in the beginning, but the Bills were looking not good. The front 7 was the only good thing that was really working. Ed Oliver was literally like babying people, to put it plainly. They were doing pretty well, like blocking passes and stuff like that. They could not stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry ran over them all first half. They started, leaning away from Derrick Henry for a minute in the second half. I think that's when it ended up, having Baltimore lose this game. But Zay Flowers just had kicked it up a gear once the second half started. I think he got a quick chunk play, and then a quick touchdown, ended with 143. Derrick Henry ended up having 169 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns to go along with it. he played phenomenally. Lamar Jackson, 14 for 19, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. They just didn't pass it a ton because Derrick Henry was doing his thing. And when they did pass it, it was pretty much like a 3-play drive. So the ball was in Buffalo's hands a lot. They just kicked it into high gear. Unfortunately, much like I imagine most people, I had turned the game off.
Can't ever let Josh Allen have even a chance to win a game because
Yeah, it was 40-25 with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I turned the game off, and then I get an ESPN notification saying immaculate comeback, Buffalo Bills win. I'm like, what? I go and look. Sure enough, they did. Just masterclass play by Josh Allen. From what when I went and rewatched everything, beautiful game by him. The Buffalo Bills need to figure out that defensive slump that they were in pretty much 90% of the game. Sean McDermott, I have faith that he can do that. That is a guy who knows the defense. So I have faith with that.
Yep. And for our last game, which is still happening as we're recording this right now, is the Bears versus the Vikings. I think J.J. McCarthy just threw a pick six, which I'm not that surprised. I mean, the Bears, they don't look great. They have 10 offensive points, and it's towards the end of the third quarter. I think the biggest thing I'm taking away from this game is and again, J.J. McCarthy is basically a rookie. It's you can't expect someone to just come out and play against a team that has always a very good defense like the Bears and to play well. But I do think that, and the game isn't over, Minnesota also has a good defense, and I will say the Bears look better than last year. But for a lot of the Bears fans who are kind of expecting, Ben Johnson is going to take this offense to 2024 Lions level, that's not happening yet. Again, it's week 1. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. But it looks like a very messy game right now, but I do expect the Bears to come out on top.
Yeah, definitely. They just look like the team with some resemblance of chemistry. If this was a pick six thrown in the first half and they still had halftime to go, that'd be one thing. It is not that. That is a pick six well into the third quarter. So they are in some trouble right now. J.J. McCarthy is what I thought he was as well. So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that. We'll have to talk about that next week.
Yeah. But that concludes our reflections for this week. And Michael, if you'd like to take us into our next section, kind of explain our first week of going over some different formation types.
Yeah. So this is something I've been excited to start. We get to teach each other. I have chosen one offensive and one defensive scheme. Ben, you've done the same. And now it's just basically explaining it to each other. We're scheming, you know? So I'll go ahead. I'll start with defense, and then I'll let you explain your defense, and then we'll go. Then you can go straight into your offense, and then I'll finish with mine. My defense, it's the defensive formation, I think, is the 4-3 defense. This is from what I've learned, this is a base defense. A lot of things are based off of 4-3. It's always kind of either 4-3 or 3-4. You have 4 defensive linemen. Usually you'll have a nose tackle, a defensive tackle, and then you have edge rushers on either side. Those make up your 4, and then you have linebackers. You have a Sam linebacker. You have a Mike linebacker. He's the one that talks to the coach. And then you have a Will linebacker. And all those different positions have different things that they need to know. This specific defense is better than 3-4 at run stopping. It's not as good as pass protection, since you always know where those linemen or those rushers are lining up. It's going to always be the same. So it's pretty balanced. When you're running
Mm-hmm.
4-3, you're trying to get that quarterback. You're not necessarily trying to protect the field from throws or anything like that. So you always have an ulterior motive there.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things are specific. There are different types of fronts, which would be moving around the 4 up front by the line, and then you'll have corresponding moves with the linebackers based on the gaps that they're looking in. Some of I guess the two real popular ones, the over front, you'll hear a lot. It's when the defensive tackle is moved over to the tight ends and the strong side, which is where the rush is expected to go. So that's where they're going to be really trying to push in their way. That's the over front. Apparently, if your DT is moved over there, the Mikes and the linebackers have to play wide, which kind of leaves them a bit stressed out. But I think it's pretty popular. I think they run that more often, and they also have a variation of that called the G front, which is just when the nose tackle is moved over over the guard instead of being over the center. So you have that middle chunk in front of the center that's just wide open, but you're really trying to contain and attack them from the guards. The other popular one is the under front. That's when the defensive tackle is moved under to the opposing tight end, and the formation's weak side, which is where they're running away from. So there's a chance maybe you might not be able to beat the line quicker, but also at the same time you might just get straight up outran. So it's good for trying to get after the quarterback, bad in the run game.
Yeah.
And usually you'll find covers 2, 4, and 3. Cover 2 is pretty self-explanatory. Only 2 are covering deep. Cover 4, you'll have the same 2 safeties in cover 2, but you'll have 2 extra cornerbacks back there. Cover 3, you'll have the strong safety play up, and then you'll have the free safety down in the back with 2 corners. And then this is where those linebackers will start to do different things. The Sam will line up in the middle for cover 2 and 4, while the Will and the Mike will drop to hook curls on 2, but flats in 4, which is kind of like the zones that they're lining up in. Flats is just make sure they didn't get nobody's crossing on a flat route there, and a hook curl for hooks and curls. And then the cover 3 just kind of makes the strong safety play as a linebacker, and then it's almost like cover 4, except the Will take a flat, and the Sam and the Mike will hook curl. That's basically most of what I learned from cover or from 4-3. I enjoy looking at some 4-3. I think the Falcons run a 4-3, which kind of makes sense, seeing as it's a defense that they're trying to get after the quarterback with, because they know that they've been struggling with that. But maybe our biggest issue is our predictability, which that's always been an issue, especially recently. So maybe our defense is just that predictable as well. So maybe that's part of our struggles.
Yeah. Well, mine is pretty simple. Mine is just the 3-4 defense, which that's pretty much just the base defense that a lot of schemes are run on. Probably every game, just like a 4-3 is probably seen every game. 3-4 is you got 3 linebackers and 4 defensive backs. You got the the nose tackle and defensive ends, and then this is usually to try to prevent small passing plays and to bring pressure in on the quarterback. This is also pretty easy to use for pass rushing. With a lot of these modern defenses, Brian Flores comes to mind. A lot of base defenses being masked to be something else, where they'll have it look like a 3-4, maybe trying to stop the run, and then once the play is snapped, they'll actually drop back a lineman or bring in a couple linebackers to have kind of a disguised blitz or maybe make it more of a man play. I think this is really interesting. Not the defensive scheme itself, but kind of how these defenses are kind of evolving to try to match the modern offense of motion and trying to kind of sniff out how each play is going to go before the snap even happens. But yeah, I don't have as much on it. Michael definitely did his homework. 3-4 is very common, as is 4-3. We're starting kind of with the basics. And Michael, what do you have for your offensive stuff?
My offensive stuff, definitely not as much as the defensive stuff. This stuff seems more basic. I chose the pistol formation. And this is a hybrid of a lot of pro style formations as well as the shotgun formation. Much, I guess, similarly, the quarterback will line up under center or behind center, not under it. The difference is that instead of under, he'll be lining about 3 to 5 yards back. The running back is directly behind him. This is kind of like a versatile type of formation where you have better vision than like your typical shotgun. You don't have to backpedal, and you get an extra like 3 steps of time in the pocket before any edge rusher can get to you. You can just snap the ball, plant your feet, boom. You don't have to take 3 steps back and then plant your feet and go. It's a good formation for run pass option plays. Most mobile quarterbacks will also run this. Lamar Jackson, Jay Daniels, that type of stuff. It's very common in college, I believe, as well. The running back can also choose different schemes. You can go you can go inside, you can go outside, you can go counter, you can go whatever. So that it forces the defense to respect both the air and the ground. It keeps them honest and guessing, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for mine, I just did the shotgun, which is very similar to the pistol formation. The quarterback is usually further behind the line of scrimmage, so 5 to 7 yards. And then the running back or the halfback is usually directly to their left or their right instead of right, behind them. Very similar. This gives the quarterback, depending on what kind of play they're trying to run, if they're doing play action, where the quarterback can kind of read the offense and either send the running back in motion or pass it off and fake it or whatever. It's just a very versatile play to run. It also gives the quarterback more space to give him a little bit more time to throw. And with mobile quarterbacks, it gives them openings if they decide that they just want to run the ball themselves. It's usually good in a lot of 3rd and long situations when facing a very strong pass rush and just in pass-heavy offenses or offenses that kind of want to keep the defense on their toes and maybe switch it up and run a shotgun with a run.
That's it's beautiful. I mean, it's interesting to see. 'Cause I'm starting to play the new Madden as well. You can see these things implemented. In Madden I run a 4-3, so I like to go after the quarterback. So just seeing the specifics, I can actually use this kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. Shotgun has always been something familiar as well, so it's just kind of fun to see it get kind of, get it picking up.
Yeah, for sure. For one of our next segments, it's going to be the predictions for this upcoming week, and then we're going to wrap up with just a brief discussion of how Michael's and I's fantasy league went, and I think the two of us actually played this week, so it'll be interesting to go through.
We get to fight. So for our week 2 predictions, we'll go ahead and begin with the AFC. Bills at home or at New York against the Jets. Divisional matchup. No brainer, especially after seeing what we saw last week. I'm going Buffalo.
I'm in the same boat as Michael. I think absolute no brainer. Maybe the Jets will surprise us again this week and maybe I'll make it a good game, but I don't see Josh Allen losing to a divisional rival week 2. Moving on to the next game, which is the Patriots versus the Dolphins. I last week would have probably said the Dolphins would win, but after seeing the absolute abysmal performance that the Dolphins threw together yesterday, I am going to actually pick the Patriots. It might still be a close game, but if Tua has another game like that, they're not winning many games at all.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Drake May looked pretty good. The entirety of Miami did not. This isn't home, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got up if we got upset here. I can't like rightfully pick a game for the Cardinals after seeing what I saw last week. Moving on to the Bengals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a pretty 50-50 game. I'm gonna have to go with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the Bengals just because they're at home. It's a coin flip for me. If it was the other way around, I might have said Jags, especially in the way they played against Carolina. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just think the Bengals have the better offense. I don't think Jacksonville has a particularly flashy defense, so I do think the Bengals will do well. I know they still get a slow start, but they're 1-0, and I know Jamar Chase didn't have a crazy game last week, so hopefully if he even just gets to half of what he was doing last year, it probably won't be very close. But then moving on to the next game, which we have the Browns and the Ravens, I think the Ravens are going to blow out the Browns. I don't really, especially with how they played against the Bills, putting up 40 points on a defense that I think is better than the Browns. I really don't see a world where Cleveland even keeps it within a score or two. But it's a divisional matchup, so anything can happen. But
Yeah, anything can happen, but they put up 40 on a defense that's significantly better than the Browns. Even if we said it wasn't that great of a defense, it's still way better than the Browns' defense. Outside of Myles Garrett, they're just gonna dog them, especially in Baltimore. It's not gonna go well for them. The next game, Colts Broncos, might be an interesting one. A little offensive struggles on the Broncos, not offensive struggle on the Colts. That Broncos defense though, terrifying. Quarterback on the Colts, it's still Daniel Jones. I don't really care what he did previously against a defense like that. I don't. You're not really doing much, even at home.
yeah, much like what Michael just said, I don't trust Daniel Jones. Unless somehow we get through a majority of this season and I see consistency out of him, I'm still going to go with the Broncos. I still, unlike Michael, I still do think Bo Nix is a good quarterback. I just think he needs some time, but we'll see. It's possible he has a sophomore slump, but I still am going to go with the Broncos to take it home pretty handedly. Going to the next game, Chargers-Raiders. After this week, I think the Chargers are the real deal. The Raiders might keep this game close, but I do see the Chargers pulling off their second win in the row, and at that point, it's the Broncos and the Chargers tied for first, but if the Broncos for some reason go against the Colts, then the Chargers got a game on the whole division.
Yeah. This is pretty much, you nailed it based on what the Chargers were doing. I'm in love. The Raiders will keep it close, but the Chargers is gonna win it. It's experience going for you. That was our last AFC game. I'm gonna move over to the NFC games, and then we'll go into the combos. NFC, the first NFC game, Washington Commanders at Green Bay. This will be another good one. Michael Parsons is starting to settle in. Can that offense do anything against it? They were struggling earlier. I don't think so, especially in Lambeau Field, how they took care of the Lions. Michael Parsons gets another week in there to get chemistry. They just get comfortable down there. I think they're gonna do something. They might start 0 or 2-0.
Yeah, I as much as I hate picking the Packers, I don't want to just be the typical delusional Lions fan. The Packers surprised me, and I do think they'll be able to take this one home. I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders were able to win, but 'cause I think they're going to win. 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 But 'cause I think th I think this will be kind of the first game to see if are the Packers the real deal or not. Jaden Daniels is a sensation. Dan Quinn is a good coach. I don't really trust the Commanders' defense, but it's just with how Week 1 works, it could be a blowout in either direction. It could be the best game of the week, and I know that's a non-answer, but I don't know what to think yet. But I do think the Packers will come out on top. For the next game, the Giants versus the Cowboys, absolute no-brainer. The Cowboys win unless the Giants bench Russell Wilson. And in that case, I still think they lose, but at least then I would be more excited to watch it than to watch Russ go out and lose a game again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I can't ever really say, the Giants are gonna come in, especially to a division matchup against the Cowboys. Coming to their house and just win. It's obviously possible. Nah, I just they, their offensive line is still pretty good. The offense is just good in general. They're just gonna absolutely lay it on New York. And New York is just gonna they're just gonna end up taking it. This is another pride and joy of mine. I'm probably gonna, based on these kind of predictions, I'm probably gonna nail the Saints at 0-17. Not only am I biased, but they actually do suck. They're actually gonna go against some experienced defensive talent. It's gonna look a lot different, and then that aging defense is actually gonna have to play some people that can make them miss, not just either catch it or turn the ball over. I know that George Kittle is going to be missing some weeks with that hamstring injury that he got last week, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, I agree with Michael. Even though the 49ers are, I think, in a tough spot, but they did win. They're 1-0. All props to them. The Saints are bad. There's really not much else to say that Michael didn't already cover. For the next game, Bears-Lions, I don't know. This one is hard. I can't pick against the Lions in week 2. I have faith that it might not be the cleanest game on both teams' part, but I do think that the Lions bounce back. I hope they do. So I'm going to pick the Lions, but if the Lions do disappoint again in week 3, then they got to go on the road against the Ravens, and an 0-3 start is not a good place to be.
This is a clear Lions victory, in my opinion.
I hope so. I hope you have more faith than I do.
Yeah. This next one, Arizona, Carolina. This is another toss-up. This is just like the Bengals, Jacksonville. The result's gonna be the same for me. I'm gonna go Cardinals because they're at home. Bryce Young. This is probably a real winnable game for Bryce Young. His defense is not, hounding him like the other ones. I still have to go Arizona here.
Yeah. I do think Arizona gets the win. I want the Panthers to have a bounce back. I do like Bryce Young. Just seeing those flashes at the end of last season were heartening, but until the Panthers prove us otherwise, that they are a serious contender and they can stay consistent, I will be going with the Cardinals. Going to Falcons versus Vikings, especially with how the game is going right now and with the improved pass rush of the Falcons, I do think the Falcons will win this one pretty handedly. Michael Penix is balling out. Kind of a revenge game from last year. I know Minnesota came in and kind of handed y'all your asses on a platter.
Yeah.
But I do think this year you'll come in, get the win, get a bounce back from last week, and start 1-1. That's a good start to the season.
Games in Minnesota have not treated us very well. I think we've had, the past 2 times. I think we beat them last time we played them, but Justin Jefferson had like 200 yards and like 3 touchdowns, and then the time before that, I think we got shut out. So I'm kind of scared to mark it in the Falcons win column, but the way our defense played and the way that their offense is currently playing, all AJ Terrell has to do is kind of keep Justin Jefferson, sort of in check. Not necessarily lock him up because it's Justin Jefferson. You're just not going to do that. But this is a very winnable game for us, especially away. This would be a pretty big win in the NFC. Bounce back. This Vikings team is not as good as everybody thought, so I'll follow you, man. I have less faith in you as well, but I'll go Falcons as well. Yeah, that'll move us to the AFC versus NFC games. First game up, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams looked pretty strong offensively, and against strong offense, the Titans could not do anything. I know they went against the Denver Broncos, but they just weren't really moving defensively at all. The offense just messed up themselves, or the Denver offense kind of made their own mental errors. Tennessee was just happy to, pick up on it. I don't think they're going to have the same kind of luck here. Even so, they're probably still going to lose.
Yeah, I think Michael did a pretty good job there. I think that the Rams will pull this one out. Matthew Stafford's still balling out. The Titans do have a good defense and a very good passing defense as well. But Cam Ward still a second game against a very experienced veteran team that's won a Super Bowl against Sean McVay, probably one of if not the best coach in the league. I really don't see them standing that much of a chance. And then going to Seahawks versus Steelers, especially with what happened this week, I expect the Steelers to win pretty convincingly, especially at home. If somehow Sam Darnold is able to get his act together, it might be a good game, but I think with the Steelers' defense and how good Mike Tomlin is at game planning, I think this has blowout potential.
Yeah, definitely blowout potential. Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns last week. Sam Darnold, like I said, 90% yards went to one receiver. Can't do that against a defense like that. But, I guess the defense isn't what we thought they were, seeing as they almost lost to the Jets, in a high-scoring game. So we'll see how they treat. I'm going to have to go Pittsburgh. They're in Pittsburgh against a team that did not do well offensively. I have faith in them, especially with them doing pretty well offensively, but I think that'll be a good game regardless. This next game, Super Bowl rematch. The Eagles get a little extra game, or an extra day of rest. Can they get the win? This is another tough one. They both kind of stalled. I don't think Jalen Carter is going to get any extra punishments. The defense is better. The Eagles' defense is better at capitalizing on mistakes. I think they're going to be able to get that capitalization, and they're actually going to end up pushing the Chiefs to 0-2.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Eagles are just the better team. They proved why in the Super Bowl. It'll be interesting to see them play in Arrowhead, but especially if the Chiefs play like they did last week, and last year, I suppose, against a defense that's very good. I really don't see a route that the Chiefs win, but I also do not want to sleep on Patrick Mahomes. I acknowledge that he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. So with him in a game, you never know what's going to happen, but I do think the Chiefs send him home. I guess they'd already be home, but they send him back 0-2. And then for the last game of the week, Buccaneers versus Texans. I do think the Bucs will get the win, especially if the Texans play as sloppily as they did. Michael said earlier, the Buccaneers have a pretty good defense, and Baker Mayfield, as we know, is an excellent quarterback. I think that the Texans need to get some things cleaned up and polished if they even want to have a chance to win this game.
I think Atlanta's defense played really well in containing what the Bucs were doing. If the Bucs go out and try to do the same stuff, I don't think the Texans are going to be able to, really get them like we did. They're just not playing well offensively. The Bucs are going to run all over that. It might be a bit closer than we think, but I also have the Bucs as well.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising we didn't disagree on anything. I kind of think these are no-brainers. Well, outside of those two 50-50s. But, yeah, that's our Week 2 predictions.
I want to talk about this one fantasy matchup we had, and then we'll wrap up here. It was you versus me, man. A real slugfest at the beginning. I had Justin Herbert drop me 30 or 28 points after Friday. I was hyped, man. I was feeling good. I also had Hollywood Brown with 20. I was feeling good. But then nobody else got touchdowns. I think the only person that got me a touchdown until Josh Jacobs did was Alvin Kamara. I had Jamar Chase 4.6, Drake London 13.5, Steelers defense 2. Cam Little clutched up though, 15 points. But it was just your team did so much better than mine, even though you had AJ Brown.
Yeah,
Sad.
I mean, I remember checking between like 1 and 3, and you were projected to win at that point, like with what happened with Justin Herbert, and I had AJ Brown just get 2 points. But I got very lucky to have Jamar Chase only get 5, and then Brock Purdy had a solid game, around 17 points. Despite the Falcons not having a great run game, Bijan still got 25 points. Chuba Hubbard got 18. Zay Flowers kind of popped off, 143 yards, a touchdown. Kind of got him as a steal for that draft.
Yeah, you really did.
Almost 30 points. Trey McBride, 12. That's good for a tight end. Cameron Sutton went off, 18 points. Broncos defense, 18 points, and Brandon McManus. As much as I hate the Packers winning, he did get me 9. So I got almost 150 points. It was a good week for me, but we'll see. We'll end up playing each other at least one more time this season. So
yeah, we'll probably
you'll have a chance for revenge.
Yeah, a couple more times. Right now, he's beating me 146.18 to 113.22. 99% win probability versus my 1%. TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah,
he
30 points.
Yeah, he could still get a nice little 30 bomb in this comeback. But yeah, it's just a lost cause. Left Michael Pittman on the bench. I don't know if I'll make that mistake again. We'll see. But yeah, it was a decent matchup. Nice tossing and turning, lead changes, the whole 9. Scored pretty high. I think you and I both would have won against literally
other
everybody
teams,
but two. Everybody but
Yep.
2 people.
That's the nature of how fantasy goes sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With that, it was great. It was a great time recording this first episode, technically second episode. Hopefully we'll get another good one, another good week rather, of the season.
We appreciate you guys watching, and if you're still with us, please drop a like and subscribe. Check out some other things that are affiliated with the larger organization. We're part of 20K Brokeland, and thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.